Walter White didn't build an empire in a single moment. He built it slowly, carefully, one cook at a time. And what started as a desperate attempt to make money
$275,000 worth of risk?
turned into something far more dangerous.
I was there. And I watched her die.
Because somewhere along the way, Walter White and Jesse Pinkman didn't just learn how to cook that stuff. They perfected it, refined it, pushed it to a level no one had ever seen before. A product so pure, it became legendary. And if you look closely, there are 5 key moments, 5 cooks, where everything changed. Moments where a simple operation turned into an empire. At the beginning of Breaking Bad, Walt and Jesse are completely unprepared for the world they're stepping into. One is a high school chemistry teacher with nothing left to lose. The other is a small-time dealer barely holding things together.
Dual volumetric flask, that's what a boiling flask is for. Did you learn nothing from my chemistry class?
They don't have a system, they don't have a plan, and they definitely don't have control. But what they do have is potential.
And hitting a target accurately, 23 miles away.
Because from the very first cook, it becomes clear that Walt's understanding of chemistry is on a completely different level. And as Jesse begins to learn from him, something unexpected starts to happen. They don't just produce the drug, they start improving it, refining the process with every attempt, correcting mistakes, adjusting variables, slowly building something that feels less like improvisation and more like mastery.
And the shit I cook is the bomb, so don't be telling me.
And step by step, they get closer to perfection. Number 5, the first cook in the RV discovering perfection. It all begins in the desert, inside that old RV where Walt and Jesse attempt their first real cook under pressure and with no room for mistakes. At this point, everything feels uncertain. The equipment is improvised, the environment is unstable, and neither of them fully understands what they're getting into. But when the process begins, something extraordinary happens. The product comes out almost perfect, far purer than anything Jesse has ever seen.
Please.
And in that moment, everything changes, because this isn't just what they expected to get. This is something different, something better. For Walt, it's proof that he still matters, that all the years of frustration, all the missed opportunities didn't erase his talent. For Jesse, it's the first time he realizes that this partnership could be something real, something powerful. But it's still raw, still chaotic, still fragile. They've discovered perfection, but they haven't learned how to control it yet, and that lack of control almost destroys them. Number 4, refining the process, from chaos to consistency. As Walt and Jesse continue cooking, they begin to move past pure improvisation and start developing a real process.
I know just the guy to talk to.
At first it's messy, batches go wrong, arguments happen. Jesse struggles to keep up with Walt's expectations, while Walt becomes increasingly demanding, pushing for a level of precision that feels almost impossible to maintain. But with each cook, something changes. They adapt, they improve. Jesse begins to understand that this isn't just about mixing ingredients. It's about discipline, timing, and attention to detail. And Walt, in turn, begins to rely on Jesse more than he expected. Not just as a partner, but as someone who can actually execute the process. And slowly, consistency emerges. Their product isn't just pure anymore. It's reliable, recognizable, repeatable, and that's when it becomes dangerous. Because in this world, a one-time success means nothing. But consistent quality, that builds reputation, that builds demand. And suddenly, The blue stuff isn't just a product, it's a signature, a mark that people begin to recognize and seek out. Number 3, the Super Lab, achieving 99.1% purity. When they enter the Super Lab under Gus Fring, everything changes again. For the first time, Walt and Jesse have access to a professional environment, a place built entirely for precision. The chaos of the RV is gone, the limitations are gone. Now everything is controlled, every variable is managed, every step is optimized, and in that space, they reach something close to perfection. The product hits 99.1% purity, a level that no one else can match. But what makes this stage so important isn't just the number, it's what it represents. Because now, their process is no longer fragile, it's stable, repeatable at scale. And for Jesse, this is where everything changes. Because he's no longer just following Walt's instructions blindly. He's understanding the process on a deeper level, recognizing patterns, anticipating steps, developing confidence in his own ability. You can see it in the way he moves, the way he works, the way he starts taking pride in the product. Together, they aren't just producing drug anymore, they're mastering it. And in doing so, they create something that stands above everything else in the market. Something iconic. Number 2, cooking without limits, scaling the empire. After the fall of Gus, Walt and Jesse find themselves in a completely new position. There's no system controlling them anymore. No one setting the rules, no one limiting their potential. And for the first time, they have full control over their operation. This is where everything expands. Their product is already perfect. Now it's about reach, distribution, volume. They move from small-scale production to something much larger, something that starts to resemble a true empire. But scaling perfection is never simple, because the more you produce, the harder it becomes to maintain quality. The margin for error increases, the pressure builds, and every decision carries more risk. But by this point, Walt and Jesse have something they didn't have before: experience. Their process is ingrained, their understanding is deeper, and despite the growing complexity, they managed to maintain the one thing that made them special in the first place: consistency. And that consistency is what allows the empire to grow. But at the same time, it comes at a cost, because the bigger the operation becomes, the more everything starts to fall apart. Number 1, Jesse alone, proving the formula. In one of the most important moments in the entire series, Jesse cooks without Walt. And this moment changes everything. Because for so long, the success of the product seemed tied to Walt, his knowledge, his precision, his control. But now, Jesse is on his own, and the question is unavoidable. Can the formula survive without him? And the answer is powerful, because Jesse delivers. The purity remains incredibly high. The quality is still there, the process works, and in that moment, it becomes clear that what they built together has gone beyond just one person. Jesse didn't just assist, he learned, adapted, internalized everything, and now he's capable of carrying it forward, which means the product. The blue substance is no longer just Walt's creation, it's something bigger, a system, a legacy, something that can exist even after everything else is gone. When you look at these 5 moments together, what you see isn't just the evolution of a product. You see the creation of something much larger, a partnership that begins in chaos, finds structure, reaches perfection, and ultimately builds an empire. Because Walter White and Jesse Pinkman didn't just cook meth. They transformed it, turned it into something precise, something recognizable, something unforgettable, and in the end, It wasn't just the 99.1% purity that made their product legendary. It was the journey behind it, the mistakes, the pressure, the constant need to improve, to adapt, to push further than anyone else. Because that's what really built the empire. Not just the chemistry, but the evolution. One cook at a time.
Every day for a month without ever disabling it. But, you drop a commando,